and welcome to my gardening channel. I wanted to walk about today in the garden and show you what was in bloom and really show you things that are starting to bloom, especially all the summer blooms, and so gorgeous, so colorful in the garden. My name is Preeti. I garden in Toronto in Zone 6, and I wanted to walk about and show you the blooms today. And I cannot begin showing you anything else in the garden without showing you beautiful echinacea that is just starting to bloom in the garden. It is absolutely stunning, and you can see here my love for echinacea. I have it in every color possible, and I absolutely love it. This is looking so beautiful and so gorgeous and so colorful in the garden right now, and I especially love how the butterfly weed there is mingling with this beautiful echinacea here, and it's really looking gorgeous. So for me, summer, there is one flower that really signifies summer for me, and it's the echinacea. The cone flowers, they really brighten up my summer, and they are real workhorses in the garden because they thrive in all of that summer heat and provide so much color and beauty. I love it. So this is what they're looking like today in the front garden. Lots of different colors. There's lots of mixes of colors. There's pinks, yellows, oranges, reds, and it's just looking absolutely beautiful. I do also have liatris that is coming into bloom. As you can see, it's starting to bloom, and lots of stalks still here. And I also love how the geranium is blooming, and it's getting so tall and it's gorgeous. I do have to come and deadhead a lot of the roses, but that is an ongoing task. So this is another patch of echinacea. This is also so beautiful. This is the straight species. It's the Echinacea purpurea, and I don't know the variety. It could be Magnus. It's just absolutely beautiful. I love how some of them droop downward, and then there are some that are just opening up, and it's looking so beautiful, gorgeous. So the morning, the garden is looking so peaceful and zen. I do have a lot of garbage trucks around, so I might have to come back and film it if they start picking up on my street. But I just wanted to show you highlight a few of the blooms this morning. The other thing that is really blooming right now is this beautiful lavender. It's looking so gorgeous, especially with the gaillardia. I love the contrast. And the gaillardia is another summer workhorse. It is going to keep blooming now that it's blooming all summer long. All you have to do is remove these spent blooms. And even if you didn't remove them, it's going to still keep blooming. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's beautiful in the garden. One more thing that's blooming is this firelight hydrangea. It is not firelight, quickfire hydrangea. It is one of the first ones to bloom in my garden, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I love how it slowly starts to appear, and then you see all kinds of hydrangeas starting to bloom in the garden. Beautiful. I have some other pretty blooms. I have more echinacea starting to open and bloom. This is the Adobe orange, and this is the I think a red one, and I have lots of veronica blooming, and this is also a beautiful flower for the summer. It's been blooming for a while, and it's looking gorgeous. I also have scabiosa that is still blooming. This is the deep farmer blue. This is blooming as well, and it's so beautiful. More echinacea and cosmos in the back. More yarrow that is blooming. And lots of gaillardia blooming up here, and it's looking really gorgeous. Just absolutely stunning. More yarrow is blooming in the back there as well, and it's looking really gorgeous. I do still have roses that are blooming. Coreopsis blooming back there. bee balm has been blooming now for a few weeks, and I also love how this is looking in the garden. It's absolutely gorgeous. I have to deadhead it so it can keep blooming. This is gonna keep blooming pretty much all summer if I keep it deadheaded, and it's gorgeous. And here are some lilies that have opened up. Despite of all the lily beetles, I was worried I was gonna get no lilies this year. But isn't this gorgeous? This is just so beautiful. It's so heavy and it's drooping down with all its blooms. So that's another thing that is opening up in the garden, is lots of lilies, as you can see in the back there. Lots and lots of lilies are opening, and it's looking so beautiful. I had a lot of lily beetles this year, more than normal, and I didn't pick them off, so I was worried I was getting nothing, but I would still get my daylilies. This is Ruby Spider. It's been blooming now this week, and it's gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. Of rose that is still blooming, and it's looking absolutely gorgeous, and so many buds, so many blooms on it, and it's looking super beautiful. I can't even count how many roses there are in this cluster. It is so very beautiful. It's so gorgeous. Despite all the heat and drought, it's still doing well. There are some more roses that are blooming. This is Climbing Rose America. It's putting out more of its blooms, and it's looking really, really beautiful as well. Let's go check out the side yard, what's blooming here. In the side yard garden, it's really, really colorful right now. Lots of things are starting to bloom. These daisies have been blooming now for a couple of weeks, and they are looking really beautiful still. I do have some yellow ones that are also opening up. More echinacea in the back here. I have a ton of echinacea here as well, and along with this lavender looks really, really beautiful. It's really looking beautiful. There is balloon flower here, which is also starting to open, as you can see. It is a beautiful flower. The only thing I don't like about this flower is how it looks when the flower is done. It looks pretty bad this month once the flowers are done, but it's something I enjoy, and if I get around to it, I'll deadhead it. But I don't like the way it looks when it's done flowering. The rebloom is okay if you deadhead it. It will rebloom, but not as prolifically. But it's a nice pop of blue in the garden. I do have some beautiful purple phlox that is opening up over there. And lots of Veronica still blooming, and I love how this kind of adds this height in the garden here and there, and I love how that looks. Lots of echinacea. This white echinacea has become really tall. It's at least 3 feet tall, 4 feet tall, and it's looking beautiful with the reds and oranges in here, and it's looking beautiful. The catmint is still blooming. I can't believe it's still blooming all these weeks, months. I haven't sheared it back. I should actually shear it back so it can get new flowers, but it's getting a lot of growth in the center, so I think those will produce new blooms, but I need to come out and shear this. But the blooms are still open and still viable, so I'm just leaving it for now. Some fall sunflowers are blooming. Beautiful lily. This is, I think, Chicago daylily. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love the color on it. Lots of blooms on the geranium Roseanne as well. I love how it's intermingling with this catmint. This is Whisper Blue Catmint. It's just so beautiful together. It's looking gorgeous. So that's really what's blooming in here, is this beautiful swath of summer color. The hibiscus is getting ready too. It's going to bloom in the next few weeks, I think. And I'm always wowed when this hibiscus opens this huge bloom. This is the perennial hibiscus. So lots of color in this garden. Lots of color keeps popping up in this garden, and I love how this kind of evolves over the summer as well. So beautiful. Cattleya that has started to flower. This is the Miss Violet, I think. It's gorgeous. It's I love the color on it. It's started to bloom. It's the first buddleia that's blooming in the garden. I do have lots of other ones that are budded but haven't bloomed yet. Lots more blooms on Echinacea to come here. This is just the regular species here, and they're just beautiful. I have lots of fall sunflower starting to bloom here, and it's looking gorgeous. I do have some astilbe blooms here, and look at this bee is loving all these blooms on the astilbe. I love how this attracts these pollinators to the shadier part of the garden, and I just love how this looks, how structural and architectural an astilbe looks in the garden. And look at this lily that is blooming despite the beetle attacks. I love how this looks. And hydrangeas are starting to bloom. They do require a lot of water, a lot of care, and I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I hate babying my plants, and this one is a real baby in the garden and needs so much water. Otherwise it'll just droop and pout and not do anything, and I don't like that. But I've been good about watering it, so it's happy. This endless summer one, not so many blooms, just a lot of leaves, and it's okay. I don't know how I feel about these in the garden, but I'm giving them a try and seeing if as they mature they get better. So that's my idea. Let's see what happens. Okay, so back here I do have some Monarda blooming. This is I think the straight species, the native one, and I've had this in the garden for a long time now, and it does get some powdery mildew, but it's a beautiful one. It's quite tall, and I love how vibrant this color is. I moved a patch of it in this garden a couple of years ago, and it's taken and it's doing really well. It has lots of buds and it's looking beautiful. The lilies beside it are looking so stunning as well. I love how they look in the garden. This color is just like this beautiful crystally pink. It's got a really beautiful color. Geranium is blooming beside it and looking absolutely beautiful. In this garden here, the roses are done blooming. I deadheaded everything. But what's really stealing the show are these beautiful Heliopsis. Look at the sheer volume of these. These are so many of them. I think that one is the bleeding heart one, and this is a regular, just a regular one. Gets pretty tall. It's at least 5 feet tall, and it's really beautiful and present in the garden, I should say. And Coreopsis is an ever-blooming summer flower. It's going to keep blooming as long as you're going to keep removing these spent blooms. I just come around usually and just, you know, snap the tops off, and it'll just keep blooming in the garden. I do have a lot of Echinacea that's blooming here as well. There is Veronica. This is another beautiful plant in the garden. It's gonna do its thing and keep blooming for a really long time in the garden, and you can come out and deadhead like this bloom. When it's spent, I can deadhead it, but as you can see, it has lots of side shoots with new blooms, so it's looking really beautiful in the garden. What else do I have? I do have lots of Annabelle hydrangeas in the back starting to bloom. These were all my rescue plants, and they are rewarding me this year. I do also have more Echinacea here starting to bloom. As you can see, my love for Echinacea is everywhere, and it's looking gorgeous. More hydrangeas starting to bloom here. These are lace cap ones. This is Bluebird, I think, and it's gorgeous. In this garden bed too, there is more Rudbeckia starting to bloom there, and it's beautiful. Lots more Echinacea starting to bloom. Lots of yarrow back there. Lots more color actually in this part of the garden right now. Where is it? Yeah, I wanted to show you this one here. Actually, this is looking really good, the Rudbeckias. There are more coneflowers starting to open here, and this is gonna be a beautiful riot of color very soon. But look at these Powwow wildberry coneflowers, and they're so gorgeous. The color is so beautiful. Here is some cosmos that is blooming with it. I just love these pinks, these vibrant pinks in the garden. Just look awesome. And I have blooms on dahlias. So dahlias were planted here a while ago now. They have been growing steadily, and now is the time that they're going to start to bloom. This is the very first bloom on my Rip City dahlia. Isn't this beautiful? Look at this color. Just love how intense this color is, how strong this plant is, how tall this plant is. And I'm so excited that it's starting to bloom now. And dahlias are another thing that are going to keep blooming once they start. Just have to keep up with the deadheading. This is the Verbena hasta. This is a little native plant that I put in here a few weeks ago, and it's really pretty. I love how the blooms look. It's probably going to get a lot more taller than that once it's mature, but I love how this one is looking in the garden. Out here I do have some snapdragon blooms and beautiful blooms on this beautiful hydrangea. This is wee bit grumpy. It's got a beautiful dark color, and I love how this looks. The blooms are really pretty, and it's a beautiful hydrangea. So far it's liking this spot. We'll see how this does over time and over the years. But yeah, this is what the garden is looking like right now, today, this morning, and I wanted to share it with you. I have some clematis blooms here as well. Isn't this beautiful? Obviously being eaten by something, but really beautiful and colorful. I wanted to show you all these beautiful colors in the garden and walk around today. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you're joining me from, and I'll catch you in my next video very soon. Thank you for joining, and see you soon.